Welcome to Oil Boys Presents the Off-Season Show, Draft Week Edition. I'm joined today by my good friend, Alec Baby. Oh man, it's good to have you back for the week of the draft. This is going to be a good one.
Good to be back. A lot not happening in the past few months. Very excited.
Oh, big time, big time. Well, let's get right into it. So we're going to start out with, everybody knows Mendoza is going number one, but I want to know, are there any other QBs that have any potential in Dynasty, regardless of what round they go in, what team they go to? Are there any ones that you seeing have potential?
So for Dynasty Fantasy Football, I don't know. I'm not opposed to Dirt Simpson if he goes to like a really good landing spot and you get him maybe in your mid-second round or early second round. I really don't hate it, because you never know with some of these guys. Like even if it doesn't look good beforehand, I comp Ty Simpson to like a Bryce Young. He's kind of undersized, a little bit sneaky athletic, kind of a weak arm, so I don't think he's going to blow the world away or anything. But if he goes to a good system like Brock Purdy went to the 49ers, for example, maybe he can contribute down the stretch and play in some way. I think he's got a little juice to his game, but not in the first round of any Dynasty drafts whatsoever. He might be good for, like I said, that mid-second round if you're really desperate, early second round. But that is way far below where you want Mendoza. That's the gap between the two. Is Mendoza, you've got a guy who has definitely potentially Joe Burrow-esque, ceiling. And then Simpson, you're looking at maybe a cute little Bryce Young play. So for Dynasty, those are the only two, and really Mendoza's the only one I'm taking super seriously.
I agree. Those are the only two that are relevant in any world, in any way, shape, or form. So next up, we're going to go deep into the mind of Al Baby. And we're going to go into your nightmares, the scariest thoughts. I want to know, in your nightmares, what landing spots can receivers go to? In this draft, they're an absolute disaster. Ones that maybe even make the top prospects untouchable.
Terrible landing spots. I'm actually not as low on the Browns as a landing spot as most people might be, because they're going to throw it a lot more than they have in the past with Monken being their new coach, and also they're going to see what they have out of Shedeur this year. I'm not believing the Deshaun Watson crap. I don't believe it. So I don't think that's the worst. And if he doesn't play well, they'll take a guy with a top 10 pick next year. Now, he could be a bust, so Browns isn't ideal, but it's not terrible. It's pretty wide open. What is bad is a team who already has an established number one target hog, like the Saints. If any of these top flight guys go to the Saints at 8, I'm kind of staying away. I kind of am. The only scenario where they break out is if they're significantly better than Olave, which I don't think any of these prospects are, like, right now, significantly better. Or if Olave just doesn't stay with the Saints, which you never know, but whatever. You can't count on that. Another bad landing spot would be the Rams. I know they're talked about at 13 as being one of those teams who could take a receiver. Don't like it at all. Luka's going to be there for a long time. He's going to command 10-plus targets a game for a long time. Devontae Adams is going to be there probably just for one more year, but that'll still stunt a talented rookie's growth. And it'll be like a Jordan Addison situation. He'll go to a team with an elite one, and his ceiling is 1,000 yards. It'll be a Jordan Addison, a Devonta Smith, a Jalen Waddle. And those are not guys who win you championships until the situation changes. Another bad spot would be the Eagles. I've seen a couple guys mock to them. Don't like that either. Jalen Hurts can only support one elite receiving option at any given year. So it's been A.J. Brown the past few years, and then Devonta Smith, despite being talented, just does okay. Because Jalen Hurts isn't a guy who's going to throw for 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns. He's just not.
Yeah, look, is this guy they take going to be more talented or better than Devonta Smith? Probably not. So you're looking at Devonta Smith's the ceiling.
Exactly. And finally, we have my biggest nightmare scenario. This one keeps me up at night because this is a guy who will probably be talked up a lot, whoever goes to this team, and that's any receiver to the Jets. Everyone every year wants to think big and glorious dreams about the Jets receivers every year. I mean, last year it's been Garrett Wilson the past 4 years, but even last year, Mason Taylor was being talked up a lot. Adonai Mitchell was like a waiver wire must-have last year. I'm out on every Jets player. I'm just out, and that includes whoever receiver, if they do draft one. I'm out on whoever that is. I don't care how good they are. I really don't. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a head coach. They don't have an OC. Garrett Wilson is just going to demand tons of targets and proceed to do nothing with them, but the only thing he'll do with them is take targets away from a more talented rookie than it. It's just a terrible situation. Like, just stay away. That is the worst. Like, I don't care how good you are. You could be Jeremiah Smith himself, Jerry Smith, and go to the Jets, and I'm a little lower on him. Seriously, that's how bad this situation is. So, yeah, those are the main teams. If a receiver goes to any other team like that, to a receiver-needy team, I think it's fine. But just in general, I don't like guys being taken as twos to a guy who's clearly better than him, and I don't like anybody at the Jets.
I agree. The Jets would probably be my number one worst case scenario, too. It's every bad thing you don't want for a rookie on one place.
Absolutely.
Next up, we'll move to the running back position. Yeah, everybody's got big heart eyes for Love. Everybody loves Love. So we're going to not talk about Love that much right now. We're going to talk about the other guys. Do any of the other running backs have a chance of getting drafted on day one?
Day one, no shot.
Whoa.
Like, I don't. No one's going to reach that hard. Jadarian Price, I will admit, is an above-average running back prospect. He is. As far as where I think he should go, maybe last year's R.J. Harvey range. A mid to late second. That's actually a good spot for him. Could he sneak into the early third round? Maybe like a Blake Corum. Yeah, maybe somewhere around there. But no shot. There's another running back that goes on day one, and Price, just for Dynasty, he's the ultimate landing spot guy I've ever seen. Right? He can go to a team like Washington, right, and be a Rookie of the Year candidate, potentially. Or he could go to a team like the Giants and split in an uninspiring three-way kind of committee with Cam Scatabo and Tyrone Tracy. It really, we just don't know with this guy. So, only day one guy, yeah, Jeremiyah Love. I don't see anyone else being taken in the first round. And the second round might not be in the cards either. It might not.
I think it might not either. I think there's a world where Jadarian Price falls out of the second round. But other than him, I don't think anybody else sniffs the second round.
No,
I think that's kind of... I think he's it for second round potential.
Yeah, none of them will be taken on day one besides Love. And then, yeah, maybe the late second, early third for Price.
Yeah, I think you're dead on. All right, so next up, we're going to play a little game. And I call it Fast Comps. So I'm going to give you guys, and you're going to give me your pro comp for them, and I'll give you a second for a brief explanation, too. So we're going to start out with Carnell Tate.
Justin Jefferson was not a combine warrior. Jefferson did have better stats in college, but he was the number 2. He played pretty well. A lot of people are split on Tate, how good he'll be. I think he has that elite wide receiver 1 ceiling. Yeah, I think he plays a lot like Jefferson. I really do.
High praise for Tate. Next up, Mekhi Lemon.
I see a little bit of, gosh, let me think really quick. Lemon. I mean, kind of Wandale Robinson a little bit, honestly. I think I look at him as a better Wandale Robinson, honestly.
Wow.
Like, I know everybody loves him and stuff like that, but there's only so much undersized receivers can go in the NFL. And I think he's going to be a better version of Wandale. I don't think he's going to be a superstar. I'm sorry.
I kind of like Mekhi, so that's a little bit of a...
we're kind of reversing on there. Yeah, because I know you don't like Tate as much as I do, and I don't like Lemon as much as you do. I think he's more landing spot dependent than Tate is, though. Let's just put it that way.
That's fair. That's fair. Next up, Kenyon Sadiq.
Sadiq, he reminds me a lot of... Oh, this is such a deep pull. Like Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Seriously. Like, guys who are kind of like athletic heroes but don't put up a lot of stats. OJ, like an undersized OJ Howard is another one. And ironically, he might even be taken by the Buccaneers, and both those guys are on the Bucs. So I don't see him translating very well to the next level. He just didn't play that well in college.
Jonah Coleman.
I see a lot of like Trey Benson out of Jonah Coleman, and maybe not necessarily in play style, but in production and scenario, right? So Trey Benson was in a very weak running back class, and his stock got boosted because of that. And he got taken to be the backup to a older, injury-prone James Conner, and then he did nothing. I see Jonah Coleman's path being similar. I like, let's say he was in last year's draft, he'd be a 5th or 6th round pick. You know, we had guys like Tootin and Scatabo going in the 4th. Jonah Coleman doesn't touch those guys as far as like just pure athlete and production in college.
I agree 100%. I think another good thing about that comp is people are gonna love him pre-rookie drafts just like they love Trey Benson pre-rookie drafts too. But mark our words here, they will. That does it for this week's edition of Fast Comps. Next up, one guy we didn't talk about in Fast Comps that people might be wondering where he is Jordan Tyson. That's because he gets a dedicated segment. Now I want to know, does Tyson's injury history scare you? There's that report of him in that workout and he looked really good, and that screams like his PR team really wanted that to happen so that people can move on from the injury thing. But are you moving on after that report?
I am always on the side of, if you're injury prone in college, the odds of you magically becoming uninjury prone in the pros is just like so slight. I would not be confident in taking him anywhere in Dynasty, especially if he went to a bad team, just because if he never plays, he never plays. I mean, what did he play, 4 college seasons and the equivalent of 2 seasons worth of games? Like, he just missed so much time. And I don't know. He's just an injury waiting to happen. I don't care how good he looks and stuff. It's not like he was a superstar when he was playing either. I don't know. Like, whenever you take an injury-prone experiment in the first round, when has it ever worked out in, like, the history of, like, any position, too? Like, I'm thinking of, like, Jermod McCoy this year. I would stay away from him. He didn't play last year. Like, why would you take him anywhere? Or Caleb Farley for the Titans is another guy I remember. And these are both corners, but corners are kind of the same athletic traits as a receiver. Yeah, the injuries do concern me. In Dynasty, I would not take him with a top 6 pick. I don't care where he goes. I really don't care where he goes. It's just, the best ability is availability. It's a quote as old as time, and it keeps getting said because of things like this. You know, if you want a guy to occupy your IR spot forever, go ahead. But a lot of these injury-prone guys, like, I mean, think of Tank Dell, right? Like, Tank Dell kills it when he plays. He just never plays, you know? So I just don't like injury-prone players in college and thinking they're going to magically, like, figure out how to not get hurt in the NFL.
Yeah, it's a big risk taking him. It's buyer beware with him for sure. You have to know that.
If you get a really good deal on him, like everybody passes on him and he is sitting there at 8, 9, or 10, I mean, you kind of have to. It's between him and then a bunch of, like, 2nd and 3rd round in real life guys. Okay, yeah, you know, you kind of have to. But if you're taking him thinking he's going to fill your elite wide receiver 1 role on your team with a top 5 pick, I just don't think he's as surefire as other guys are.
So last up, we're going to play Dynasty Would You Rather. And this week it's featuring, in the mode of draft season, the rookie pick 109. So the 9th overall pick in the 1st round.
In Dynasty?
Yeah, the Dynasty 109.
Dynasty 109.
Yeah.
Okay. Who would I rather have, the 109 or the player about to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. 109, that's a random.
It is a random one.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start out with Jordan Addison.
I'd rather have probably 109. You know, you're looking at a Denzel Boston or, you know, Concepcion type of guy. I'd take the gamble with those types of guys.
Zay Flowers.
Definitely 109. Zay Flowers just doesn't have a lot of. That's another landing spot I didn't think of. Is the Ravens is a terrible landing spot for a receiver. For Dynasty, I don't want him on my team because, you know, if you start him. You start him without confidence, and then he takes up a bench spot. Yeah, I'd rather have 109. There's more upside there.
Or Cam Scatabo.
That one really depends on if they take a running back. Assuming they don't take a running back. Probably Scatabo instead of 109. Just because starting running backs any given year are so hard to find. And you're not going to find one at a 109.
Yeah, I agree. Or Jameson Williams.
Probably 109. I've never been a Jameson Williams guy. Him and Zay Flowers, like all these guys who hover around 1,000 yards and like 4 or 5 touchdowns every year, they're in that weird spot where they're too good for you to drop, but they're not good enough to start, and they're not good enough to trade and make it worth your while. So they kind of just like are paperweights on your bench. And I would rather take an upside bust at 109 than a paperweight on my bench.
Yeah, I'm with you, especially when it comes to guys like Jameson Williams and Zay Flowers. I mean, Zay Flowers is the one on his team, and you're still like, but when it comes to Jameson Williams, he doesn't scream gonna be a one anywhere either. So you don't really have hope of him getting traded or him signing somewhere else as the one, because he'll kind of do his same role anywhere. He doesn't have the Devonta Smith type, oh, if he only was the wide receiver one. There's not really that for him either. So I'm with you there.
Yeah, the difference between those types of receivers in Dynasty and actual good receivers is with your good top receivers, you start them every week and go, oh, I hope this isn't the one bad week they have. With those guys, you start them every week and go, oh, I hope this is the one good week they have.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And I don't want those, oh, I hope it's his one good week guys. I want more of the, oh, I hope it's not his one bad week guys.
We'll call it there. I think that was a good Dynasty Would You Rather sesh. And with that, we've already completed Oil Boys Presents the off-season show, Draft Week Edition. Thanks to our guest, Al Baby. Everybody have fun with the draft and have a good rest of the night.